Hello and welcome to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Grand Arena Championships, Season 28, Week 2, Round 2. My name is Boma Fett. I'm currently 1-3, and my one win came last round. I was against someone with a much larger roster. I was completely overmatched, but he decided he was only going to attack twice. So I was able to only clear 7 of his squads. He could have easily wiped my board, but just settled for attacking twice and then was done. So he gifted me the win. Hopefully I can win this one for real, so let's take a look at who my opponent is. I'm not sure if this is Ganger or Ganger. It kind of looks like Danger or Ranger, but with a G. So I'm going to go with Ganger. Ganger 00. Let's go to the Hotbot for a quick comparison. The Hotbot report shows a bit more green on my side than red on Ganger's side, but if we ignore this top section and just look from where it says summary down, this is the more important part of the report, we're about even as far as red and green. But let's zoom in and take a closer look. Now, as I said, this top section is not really very important. You can see that Ganger has a higher current score than I have, so Ganger did better last week than I did. In the old system, Ganger was a good but maybe not great player. 47,000 best score is a little low. 866 lifetime banners is solid, and offensive wins over 3,000, very good. In fact, the offensive wins, undersized, and clears are all very similar to mine. The one place where there's a big difference is in the defense. Only 407 for Ganger. That's less than half mine. So what this tells me is that Ganger sets a weak defense and goes heavy offense. And in looking at the GAC history, I can confirm that that is still the case even in this new GAC system. The roster summary shows that our overall GPs are very, very close, both at 6.9 million, but Ganger's top 80 galactic power is over 200,000 more than mine. So that means Ganger has a more focused, top-heavy roster. I've got 15 more Zetas and 2 more Omicrons, but all of my Omicrons are GAC, whereas only 2 of Ganger's Omicrons are GAC. The other 2 are Territory Wars. In the speed added, you can see that it's pretty much a wash. He's got a higher average on his Gear 11 and above. I've got a higher average on the top 80. Ganger has 25 more Gear 13 characters. In 3v3, that's 8 full squads. I've got 19 more Gear 12 and 26 more Gear 11 and above. I've got 48 more 6-dot mods, and I do have more mods with high-speed secondaries. So the fact that our overall speed added is this close when I have an overall advantage in the number of mods with high-speed secondaries, that tells me that Ganger probably has a lot of speed sets. The Relic summary shows that this match is a little bit closer than most of the matches that I've had so far in this 3v3 season. He only has just over 160, almost 170 total levels more than me, 459 to 290. Ganger's Galactic Legend advantage is 3-1. He has both the Jedi and Sith Eternal. And in the key characters and important ships, a couple of things jump out here. Number 1, he's got Maul at 7 stars, but level 1 Gear 1. His Echo is 7 stars, but still only Gear 1. So he's got some of these good new characters that he just has not leveled up. He does have a 7-star Executor. So after looking at this report, I'm feeling pretty good. It says a lot about where the game is right now, that I can look at this and think this is almost an even matchup. In the old system, I would have said that this was a huge mismatch. 3 GLs to 1, way more relic levels, way more Gear 13 characters. But in this new system, this is about as even as things get. And what really makes me think that I might have a chance here is actually his history. The fact that he doesn't set Galactic Legends on defense, he plays a weak defense and plays an efficiency game. So that gives me some hope that I'm not just going to get stonewalled in the front zones, and I actually have a chance. So let's go back to the game and take a look at the board. Now, because Ganger typically does not set any Galactic Legends on defense, I was able to put more of my good squads on defense and save less for offense. So let's take a look at my defense. In the top zone, I've got Poggle, Bam, Boma Fett, Maul, and the Sith Triumvirate is back on defense. In the bottom zone, I've got Grievous, Darth Revan, Newt Gunray, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Shock with Rex and Fives. So Qui-Gon and Shock I've been saving for offense, they're now on defense. In the back zone, I've got Dash, Night Sister Cheese, Cad Bane, Hux First Order, and I've got the Omicron there on TIE Pilot, and Savage Malik. So Malik I had been holding for offense for a few rounds. In the fleet zone, I made a change. I am now putting the Finalizer here. My Finalizer fleet isn't very good, but there it is. And we've got the Executor. I am planning on going for SLKR as my next Galactic Legend, so that's going to make my Finalizer fleet much better. Now Ganger has already attacked, so let's take a look at what he did against my defense. Full clear. However, only a 1950. So on the bottom zone, we've got 2 against Qui-Gon Jinn and 2 against Newt. In the back zone, 1 shot on all of these squads. In the top zone, we've got 2 against Boba Fett and 3 against the Sith Triumvirate. And against the fleets, we've got 1 shot on each of these. He keeps his Executor for offense, and so he was able to take down my Executor for 72 banners. But that means I won't have to face an Executor on defense. Let's take a look at his defense. There are no Galactic Legends up front. According to GAC history, he does not put any in the back either. In the top zone, we've got a Poggle Squad, Night Sisters, Jedi Training Rey, Bosk Bounty Hunters, and Karth. In the bottom zone, we've got Hux First Order, we've got a Bastila Squad with a Relic 5 Ki-Adi-Mundi. We've got Bo-Katan with Beskar Mando on the squad. I'm not sure why people keep playing Bo-Katan lead. Beskar Mando's lead is better. Don't do this. Then we've got Cad Bane and Mon Mothma. And this is a pretty weak Mothma squad here. Alright, so my voiceover file for the attack phase got corrupted, so I'm having to re-record after the fact. I decided to start off going after this Mothma squad with my Iden. I've not been using Iden in 3v3 because it's undergeared and I wasn't sure how well it would perform, but this Mothma squad is also very undergeared, so I figured that would be an easy battle for my undergeared Iden. With only 3 characters on the other side, there's not going to be a lot of turn meter generation. There will be some, but not a huge amount. So I put the buffs on my characters, and then I stunned Kyle Katarn. He's kind of the engine for that squad. But then Cara Dune started taunting, so I had to go after her. And she was really low gear, so she was very easy to kill. And then we stunned Katarn again. Now, of course, Mothma's going to bring Cara back. I debated about death marking her, but ended up not doing it because she was close to taking a turn. So I just held the death mark, and then she got a stun on my whole squad. So that's not great. But you can see they're basically doing no damage to my team. So I threw my bomb and got rid of their buffs. Then I stunned Cara Dune, called the mass assist. Keep the taunt up. And there goes Kara again, and then Death Mark here on Kyle Katarn. And he's down, and 67. Next, I decided to go with Bad Batch against the Hux squad. Bad Batch is another one that I haven't been using in 3v3 because it is under-geared, but it is such a good matchup against Hux that I thought I would give it a try. I knew I had a little bit of wiggle room with the fact that he had dropped a few battles. You can see I've got 2 Gear 12s and a Gear 11 against his 2 Relic 7s and a Relic 5. Strip the buffs off of them with Echo. That gives my team turn meter. I go for the stun. And I stunned all 3 of them. We give the turn back to Echo. He passes the turn back to Hunter. Back and forth we go. Not doing true damage yet. Go for the AoE here. And now this is going to put defense up on Tech, and now Tech will deal true damage. So the way to get the defense up with this comp is by doing Echo's basic. So we got the stun there on Tech, which isn't great. And again, Hunter, who's the big damage dealer, is not doing the true damage yet. But the calls to assist, we're able to get down Hux. We're going to go for another stun. We got it on Kylo Ren Unmasked, but not OG Kylo. So again, the defense up went on Tech, so that Tech is dealing true damage. We pass the turn back to Echo. He strips the buffs. And Hunter takes out OG Kylo. And then it's just a matter of time to work down Kylo Ren Unmasked. He's got the unresistible healing immunity, so we're able to get him down without him gaining back a bunch of health and protection. Now next up is this Bastila squad. This squad had me worried. Even though Basti is only Gear 12, she's got a really strong leadership, and a Relic 5 cam is going to hit really hard, plus Ayla has a stun. So I decided to take in my own Bastila squad. So this is a new comp I put together after last round, Bastila with Ahsoka and Mace. It worked really, really well last round. So Cam went first, Mace hit back. Mace got a turn, and I want to hit the Shatter Point, but I don't know Mace's moves that well. Now Ayla, of course, counterattacks a lot. We give the buffs to Ahsoka. And then big hit there. So both squads start off with a lot of protection up, and while they have protection up, they also have tenacity up. So it's really impossible to land debuffs, or very difficult at least to land debuffs. So I get down Ayla relatively quickly, and next it's on to Cam. We use the healing from Ahsoka whenever we can. It also gives us a little bit more protection up. So now I'm starting to get a little bit worried about Mace, so I switched to Bastila here. You can see Mace is really hurting. I want to hit that Shatter Point whenever I can. So slowly but surely we work through Basti. Remember, she was only Gear 12, so it didn't take long to get through her. And now to Cam. We got him stunned, which is great. Call the assist, and there he goes. 57 banners. Next up is the Bo-Katan squad, and I decided to take my bounty hunters here. So I'm going to be using Bosk, Grief, and Mando. So Mando against himself, different versions of himself. So I did the roar. And then we mass assist. And we mass assist again. Called Grief. We hit Bo again. So then we've got the contract, but Mando doesn't have the right buffs, so I can't disintegrate on this turn. So we keep going after Bo, and then I decided to switch off of Bo-Katan and go after Beskar Mando because he was in the Whistling Bird stance. He got his Whistling Birds off, but it didn't do much, and then I disintegrate him. These three will take care of things. Even if it takes a long time, you're just waiting for more disintegrates from Mando. So I'll go ahead and speed this up. They can't do much damage to me. I'm not doing much damage to them either, but I've got that ace in the hole with the disintegrate. We've got excellent banner recovery with Grief and Bosk, and a 57. Now against the Cad Bane squad, I decided to go with the new hotness that everybody is using now called Thridian. It's a Thrawn lead with Gideon and then a third. Usually you want a tank, but my Stormtrooper is under-geared and my Shore Trooper I used with Iden, so I've actually got it here with Darth Vader, but I don't actually want to use Darth Vader in this squad, so I take him out and I put in TIE Fighter Pilot. So TIE Fighter Pilot is not the greatest third for this squad. You really want somebody who gives you a little bit more control, but TIE Fighter Pilot's going to give me a little bit more damage than someone like Stormtrooper would. So this is my first time using this squad, so I'm still learning the mechanics. The first thing I do is I strip away their turn meter, and then I'm going to put an armor shred on Cad Bane. Now I'm going to fracture IG. Got a nice counterattack and stun there from Thrawn. And now we're going to go after Mando. So you can see TIE Fighter Pilot hits pretty hard there. I mean, granted, this is only a Gear 11 Mando. So Mando's gone pretty quickly there. Now it's on to Cad and IG. I focus on Cad because he's got the stun. And there you can see Cad got another stun. We fracture IG again. IG hits harder than Cad, so keeping him fractured is not a bad idea. I'm trying to see if I can get around to Thrawn's special again, his second special, so that I can try and get some healing, because I was concerned I didn't have everybody healed up all the way, but I wasn't able to get there. Didn't matter, still got a 57. So that was the front zone. I was riding high at this point. I had scored perfectly on all 5 battles. So now to see what is in the back. Here in the back we have Newt, Qui-Gon, Akbar, Phasma, and Geonosians. So given that there was no Galactic Legend, that freed me up to use my GL, Jedi Master Luke, against Qui-Gon Jinn. I figured I didn't need to split up my Lukes. That was my original plan, but I felt like I had enough for offense that I could keep the 2 Lukes together. So they start with Foresight, meaning that the Efflux doesn't actually hit, it just clears the Foresight. Now we get some ability blocks from Old Ben, which is nice. And now the stuns. And now remember, because the Omicron is not active, we don't have to kill Qui-Gon first. So we go after Anakin, but unfortunately that triggers the taunt from Mace, and I end up killing Mace too quickly. And so Anakin gets his bonus turn, and he does do a little bit of damage to my guys. So a little bit of a misplay there. And we only got a 55. So even though that was overkill, there was no chance it was going to lose. It wasn't perfect banners. So a little disappointing there. And next up, we went after Phasma. And for this squad, I decided to do Imperial Troopers. And now in trying to form multiple trooper squads, what I came up with is this squad that I'm calling Darkin. It's Tarkin plus Piet and Dark Trooper, and that leaves me a squad with Veer, Stark, and Range. So I have not tried this Darkin squad yet. I keep swapping Veers into the leadership, but I thought this might be a good opportunity to give it a try. Tarkin's leadership is not great. It gives a little bit of a speed boost, and it also inflicts defense down on the opponents. So I thought I'd give it a try and see how it worked. So I went after Red, and then they get a couple of turns, and they actually took out a stack of my Dark Troopers, so that's not great. But I am able to get Red down with a few punches. Then we switch over to Executioner, and I pumped turn meter there because, again, Tarkin doesn't give turn meter. So instead of doing the punch, I did the turn meter. Now, I'm not that familiar with Tarkin's moves, so I had to do a little reading. And then we get back to the punch. We took out Phasma, and then on to Executioner. So it worked, but it was really bad banners, 53. So I probably won't be using the Tarkin lead anymore. Next up, we go after the Geonosians. And here I'm going to take the standard Palpatine, Vader, Mara. The Spy and Soldier are only gear 12, so I do the Force Crush, and then Merciless. And normally I throw at the Spy, but because it's only gear 12, I decided to try a basic and see if that would kill the Spy. And sure enough, it did. So then we go around to Soldier and kill him. And then I throw at the Alpha. It wasn't enough to kill him. I do the Crush on the Brute. And then I have to hit the Brute, who's going to hit me back. Now we go for the Stun on the Brute. And we get that. We go for a Stun on the Alpha, and we didn't get it. But we've got a lot of debuffs out there now. Now we can go with Machine Gun Palp. And there we go, 57. Next up is the Akbar squad, and when you see Rebels, you think Wampa. So I'll just fast forward through this. So the only concern here was that R2-D2 giving them stealth means that Wampa is not going to get to counterattack. Leia, of course, is in stealth, but she ends up dying of sadness. And now on to GL Newt. He's only gear 11, but he does have Relic Dooku and Relic Jango with him. So I decided to go with Padme, Cat, and GK. My thinking here was that I could use Cat to insta-kill Jango even if he's got damage immunity. The thing is, it just takes way too long to get to that insta-kill, and so that's really kind of pointless. In 5s, you can get to the insta-kill more quickly, especially if you've got snips on the squad, but here it's going to take a while. And so as we're waiting, Jango is doing a lot of damage. Padme is loaded up with debuffs. I'd love to flip them for courage, but unfortunately, she was stunned, and then Jango took her out. So this was going very poorly. Like, it really, really stunned me that they were able to handle my squad so easily. Cat's getting in trouble. Now here I get the insta-kill, but it's Django, so he comes right back. They get a stun on both of my characters, and they're just going to town. So Newt would have been very easy to kill twice, and I didn't manage to do that. So I was just kind of dumbfounded. That just caught me so off guard. It stunned me. So I decided to take in Gas, because what does Gas do? Gas prevents revives. So I only have to kill Newt once. I only have to kill Django once. Now they get the stun on Skywalker. That's not great. And then Dooku with 1,000,000 attacks, but just one attack against Newt and he's gone. Not coming back. Dooku is hurting, so we go after him. And again, he gets a stun on Skywalker. So I don't know if I need to put some tenacity on my General Skywalker or what. But Django is now available, so we shift to going after Django. He's the bigger offensive threat. We get rid of him. He's not coming back. And then down goes Dooku. So 34 banners is terrible. After that brilliant start, I was very disappointed to drop that one. But I was also feeling really good about my chances. I didn't think I would drop any more. And against Bossk, I decided to take in Wedge, Han, and Chewie. This is just such a good squad. I mean, you've got Han shooting first and stunning. You've got a ton of damage output, and Wedge increases the damage output. He's not quite as good as CLS as the lead, but he's still pretty good. And you've got Guard from Chewie, and so every time Chewie is doing his basic assisting, you're gaining back protection. And so you've got great banner recovery, you've got great damage output, you've got a little bit of control from the stuns. Both Han and Chewie have stuns. So we've got a taunt now from Bossk, so we're going to have to work through him. But once you're through his protection, he folds pretty quickly. And honestly, we don't want to kill him too quickly because then we won't recover the banners that we want to recover. And sure enough, we weren't able to get back all our banners. We ended with 55 there. Next up is the Night Sister squad. And so if you've ever watched me before in 3v3, you know that I use Kylo Ren Unmasked with Watt and Executioner. We put the taunting tech on Kylo Ren Unmasked, put the weapons tech on Executioner, and now as long as Executioner makes the kills, they are not going to revive. That is, Ventress and Daka are not going to revive. Zombie will always revive until the other two are gone. We get rid of the taunt, and we go after Ventress. There's some debate about whether it's better to go after Ventress or go after Daka first. Daka does have the stun, which can be very annoying. Ventress ramps up damage. But even the stun is not too bad here because we do have Watt, who will cleanse that off every so often, unless Watt himself gets stunned. And I'm used to leaving Daka because I'm used to there being a Talzin lead. And you want to get rid of Talzin because of her plague. So this takes a while, but it works. Every now and then, it comes close to timing out. But against the lower geared characters here, I'm not too concerned about that. I know it's going to take a while, but it's not a danger of timing out this time. Daka is only gear 11, so it only takes a few hits to get her down. And with Watt on my side doing the healing, I can get full banners on this as well, which is always nice. Unfortunately, I did end up killing Daka once with Kylo Ren Unmasked, and that's kind of a no-no because then she gets her revive. But Executioner had ramped up damage, was able to one-shot her. The only unfortunate thing about this is that you can't really put it on auto from the beginning because then your guys get stuck attacking zombie constantly, because they switch over to zombie when zombie has the taunt, and then they're not smart enough to switch off of zombie once you've dispelled the taunt. Next up is this Karth squad, and so for this, I probably could have done a nest solo, but I wasn't thinking about it, and so I took in Jedi Training Rey. So we get the wiggle, and then we put the wave on Mission so that she can't go stealth. We try and get a stun on Karth, and we manage to land that, and then back to Mission, and we're able to get her down before Zalbar gets his taunt. But now he's taunting, so we're going to need to go through him. We get a stun there. And unfortunately, these guys do have AoEs, and so they're actually not bad at stealing banners. If I had a better Kylo Ren, OG Kylo Ren, I could save him for offense and I could solo this squad, but my Kylo Ren is only gear 12, and I'm not going to risk trying that. So it's not like there's any danger of losing here, but you can see that they have taken protection off of my characters, and so again, it's only a 55. However, at this point, I'm not worried about losing any more battles until I get to fleets, and as long as I can cleanly clear the rest of the way, I should have the victory. So against his JTR, I took in my CLS squad. Now I know that JTR is actually a counter to CLS, and so this is a little bit risky, but honestly, with my guys relicked and only one relic on the other side, I figured this was probably safe. So we put the Confuse on Jedi Training Rey, and then I switched over to Stick Rey. I probably should have stayed on JTR, but I was able to one-shot Stick Rey, and now JTR just kind of goes a little bit nuts, and you can kind of see why she's such a good counter to CLS. Even the computer playing it, she is doing a number on CLS. Now I got down BB-8 pretty quickly because he was also under-geared, but JTR does such a good job of cleansing herself, of landing debuffs against the enemy, keeping the enemy controlled. She does decent damage, even though she's a tank technically. So I'm trying to recover banners at this point. And I eventually got her down for 56. Last up, we've got this Poggle squad, and I've got Jedi Knight Revan available. So I go Revan with the 2 Yodas. I didn't think I would need Jolie's revive. So we put the Master's Training on Grandmaster Yoda and attack Droideka. Get him down in 2 quick hits. Spread the buffs. And then we pass the turn back to Yoda. We take out Poggle. And then we mark Sunfac. So a real quick, easy battle for 57. And on to the fleet zone. As expected, his Executor was on offense, so we have here Thrawn, the Finalizer, and the Home 1. I have had my recent struggles with fleets. I think a lot of the problem has just been picking the wrong counters. So, against the Finalizer, I decided to go with Home 1. Now, that was just because I didn't like the Home 1 mirror match, and I don't like Home 1 against the Empire fleet. Now, of course, they always go first, they're very fast, and they went straight after my Falcon. Hunted on Falcon is terrible, because what Hunted does is it reduces your damage when you're attacking out of turn, and the home one is all about getting the Falcon to assist. So we go after the Silencer, but because the Falcon's doing reduced damage, we don't get it down, and it just annihilates my Y-Wing. So I'm a little nervous here. Now fortunately, their first reinforcement was a little strange. It's the Sith Fighter. So we're stuck attacking their tank for a while, and Silencer is of course going to be ramping up damage throughout this whole time. So that's not good. I do manage to get down their tank. I wouldn't say quickly, but okay. And then, man, I am down to just the Falcon. I bring in the Ghost. And we go back after Kylo Ren. Again, I need those assists from the Falcon, but they're not doing that much damage. Finally, we get the Silencer down. Now they go to put Hunted on the Ghost, but the Ghost just dies. So it's the Falcon against 3 ships here. Really worried that I'm not going to get another reinforcement in. Luckily, I do get to call in Cassian, but this is just going really, really poorly. And I did not bring a 4th reinforcement. So we go after the shuttle, we get the shuttle down. Next I go after the TIE Fighter. My Falcon is really hurting, but I get my ultimate just in time. We get down the TIE Fighter. Now all that's left is the Sith Fighter, if we can get it out before another reinforcement comes in. Hunted on Cassian, kills Cassian. So it's one-on-one between the Sith Fighter and the Falcon wins that matchup. 58 banners is terrible, but you know what? It doesn't matter. As long as I win these battles, I win the match. So next up is the home one, and I take in the Negotiator here. We go after the Y-Wing. It did get the shield disruptor on my Y-Wing, so that's not good. We put the buff immunity on the Y-Wing, and it gets cleansed. One of the annoying things about the Home 1 fleet with the Falcon in there is the Falcon cleanses the debuffs. But we're able to get the Y-Wing down relatively quickly. My Y-Wing is really close to dying, and it goes down. So I am worried here as well. I think I've misplayed both fleet battles so far. I bring in Plo Koon for some healing, and I put the taunt on 5s. Not because 5s is a great tank or anything, I just want to keep them off of Anakin. I need my Anakin to survive. And then here I get the unending loyalty, so even if 5s goes down, he will come back. Stuck attacking Biggs. We got the buff immunity on Biggs. But again, the Falcon cleansed it. So next I bring in Snips for a big hit. And we finally get rid of Biggs. Now we're going after the Phantom. And he gets another reinforcement. So in comes the Ghost. And my squad is looking really close to death. So we finally get our ultimate, and that takes out both of the Phoenix ships. So now all we have left is the Falcon, and a big hit from Ahsoka takes out the Falcon. So a 64, again, is not a good score in fleets, but all we need to do is win. So we go after the TIE Bomber first. Of course, it's taunting, so it's not like we have much choice. Put the Buzz Droids out there. They get the burning on my team. but burning doesn't do as much against squads that are not rebels. We bring in the spy, hoping to get the taunt on Vader. Instead it goes on the TIE fighter. But we go ahead and we take advantage of that and get rid of the TIE. In comes the shuttle, and we're back onto the bomber. And we get the bomber down. So now we can go after Vader. We put buzz droids on Vader, and bye-bye Vader. So now we're just trying to get through the shuttle before they get in another reinforcement. They get the heal there, which makes things last a little bit longer. But a basic from the Malevolence does him in, and a 69. Finally, not too bad a score there. So that's the final 2022 to 1950. If I had one piece of advice for Ganger, it's scout your opponents. If they only have one Galactic Legend, put a couple of your Galactic Legends on defense. I'm still getting used to 3v3 again, and we've got so many new squads in 3v3. It's taking a while, but I'm starting to get more comfortable. It definitely helps when the opponent does not put a Galactic Legend on defense. This was kind of a fun one for me. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'd like to thank Ganger00 for the match. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next round.